Alright, hello. This is BoBoFraggles, and I am actually recording a video on behalf of the Magic Online Society. I am taking green-white Bogles through a modern league. This is an MTGO league. This is not one of our sponsored events. This is just a 5-round MTGO league, and let's get right into it. I'm on green-white Bogles. You can check out the deck prior to this video. Alright, so this is going to be a recap video, so we get through the action pretty quick here. Okay, let's see. So Luris is a big part of this deck. Like, I'm a big fan of Luris and Bogles. It's just a nice addition. So our hand's pretty good here. We have 2 lands, we have a creature, and we have some enchantments. Especially Ethereal Armor is really good. So we drop the Razorverge Thicket, and we drop this Glade Cover Scout onto the battlefield and we pass the turn. Black Cleave Cliffs, Dragon Rage Channeler. So, you know, a lot of the Modern Horizons 2 cards are just really strong, so, but we have an answer for it with this Path to Exile. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling like I'm way ahead of this race, right? So they draw their card. We get a Daybreak Coronet. So now I'm feeling like just overconfident about our position here. So we go ahead and we drop the Rancor, we drop the Ethereal Armor, we got a 5/3 First Strike Trampler, and, you know, we're just getting in there. Going right to 5. And I like Bogles right now because of so many of these, like, black-red, is-it type decks that use targeted removal, and this is just really good against targeted removal specifically. So I actually like this deck right now, especially because, you know, all the tempo-based stuff, you know, it's just good that we're ahead of the game. But they do Thoughtseize here, so we don't get to use that Daybreak Coronet, but I'm still feeling really good about the race because of the Path to Exile. And we drew another Rancor. So, you know, I actually save the Path to Exile here because it doesn't change the clock. Adding the second Rancor doesn't change the clock, and I want the Path to Exile because with 3 cards, for instance, 3/6, 3 bolts, 3/6, 9, you know, that's enough to kill us with 3 bolts, so I wanted to be able to Path to Exile. And they play Ragavan. Now, because it takes away the ability for them to kill us, I believe I go ahead and I path the Ragavan here. They Unholy Heat us, but then they ended up conceding. So we will be right back with game number 2. We're currently 1-0 in round 1. Alright, we're back. This is game number 2 of round number 1. And we are again on Bogles. Right now we're going to be on the draw because we won that game. We chose Luris. Again, this hand, super good. This Sanctifier and Vec I brought in just because, you know, Delirium requires them to have 4 different types. I figured this card's just really good against Delirium, and we have 2 creatures that are both. So we have like Stone Wall here and a removal spell. We are missing enchantments, but I feel like it's actually okay. So they drop a Dragon's Rage Channeler, right? And they play the Mishra's Bauble. They draw the card at the beginning of the upkeep. We draw another land. We drop the Razorverge Thicket here. And we just go ahead and get a creature down. Now, they Ragavan in, right? Now, I have to stop Ragavan, and, like, I feel very comfortable doing it. So, I know I'm going to get the Sanctifier and Vec, which has per red. So, I'm, you know, per red and black, and they're red-black. So, there's nothing they can really do besides making me Edict, and I figured if they have an Edict, they kind of win anyway. So I just drop, grab a Plains, and I play the Sanctifier and Vec. Gets rid of the Dragon Rage Channeler, shuts off Delirium. I'm feeling really good here. And they play Kroxa, right? But this is, again, Sanctifier and Vec is just so good. I discard the land card, which I think was actually a mistake. Like, I probably should have kept the land card, but I ended up playing a Solana Ledgewalker and just kind of passing the turn. So they go and get a blue spell. So now, like when I saw that, I started worrying about like echoing truth, something along those lines. But you know, let's just let's start the clock, right? So I could have played another Sanctifier and Vec there, which is probably not a bad choice, but because you know they could have attacked and at least got in with the Dragon Ridge Chandler at least once. But I play the Daybreak Coronet, and what they do is they drown and lock the spell, right? So Daybreak Coronet does not actually get to get on there. And then I'm going to hit him for 2. Nothing crazy going on here. Now, on their turn, they draw another land. They kind of brick a little bit. What they didn't do was get Lurrus, right? They 100% should have gotten Lurrus and then started Mishra's Bobbling, but I think they forgot. So that was a little bit bad on their part. But we won this match 2-0, and that was game number 1. All right, we are in match number 2 of the Green White Bogles League. And let's see how this one goes. So again, Lurrus, and as you can see, this is the sideboard that I'm currently working with. The 3 Force of Vigor, 4 Sanctifier, and Vec, just because of so many Ragavans and so many Fatal Pushes. Spirit Links for burn, Spirit Cleansing, just 3 Force of Vigors for 2 Seal Cleansing, 3 Force of Vigor for Artifact removal, and then of course Lurrus. So that's what I'm working with. But we choose that. This hand, unfortunately, not good enough. We had to ship it back. But this hand is good enough. We have an extra land, so we're gonna put one of those lands back. Which I probably should have not put that land back and put the plains back instead. But I didn't, and they thought seize us, and they take our creature, which is a little unfortunate. Alright, so we don't draw a creature here, right? Which is like it's very unfortunate that we don't have anything to do on this particular turn. Having that spell would have been really important. And they know about the Mana Tithe, so it just makes the Mana Tithe not very good. Which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I sided Mana Tithe out like the majority of the time. That's right, this is when I was kicking myself for getting rid of the land. Getting rid of the land was bad, but they play a Satyr Wayfinder, and this just gets creatures into the graveyard. I put Lurrus into my hand. They play Grief, and then take it out of my hand. I draw another Mana Tithe, and I conceded this game. This game was like, I got destroyed pretty badly here, just with how good their hand was, and then that Thoughtseize was like really good. So alright, we'll be back with game number 2. Alright, we are match number 2, game number 2 of the Green White Bogles League, and I'm on the play. Obviously I choose Lurrus here. This hand is pretty good. We are on the play, so I can get the creature down early, which we do. They grief us to start, and they take our Griff Spoon, which actually isn't bad because we get Griff Spoon back. Like, Griff Spoon's like one of those spells that like we get back. I should have not have played the Horizon Canopy here. I had no intention of cycling it, and it didn't, and it lets them know what's still in my hand, so they know. So they know, they have perfect information about what my hand is. Shouldn't have played that. As soon as I played it, I was like, oh crap. And they know about the Mana Tithe, so we draw another land. We hit them for 1 more. Surprisingly enough, like this Mana Tithe kind of like just made them play 1 turn below, but they get Priest of Fell Rights, meaning they can get their grief back or whatever. I go ahead and get a Temple Guardian to play tapped. I didn't cycle, and like we drew like the worst enchantment to draw there in that Slippery Bogle, or sorry, with the Daybreak Coronets. Now we got 2 creatures and we don't have any action, and we're thinking like, oh man, they're gonna they're gonna crush us here. So they get Grief into play. Take the Daybreak Coronet. You know, we're just going to keep getting lands out of our deck. Hopefully we stop drawing lands. We draw a fair... Oh, they tried to fair mate the Grief. Luckily, they made a mistake. They should have done that on my upkeep, not on my draw step. But I guess I understand why they did it on the draw step, but we were able to like get a little bit back there and then Path to Exile that to stop it from getting so bad. And then we just put Lurrus into our hand. Yep. They get the Grist out in the play, and they create their little 1/1. But I drew an Ethereal Armor here, which was like really, really good. Because check this out, we play Lurrus, right? We put Griftspoon from Lurrus on the play, so it's 4, right? Then we attach the Ethereal Armor, and we kill that Grist, right? So now I'm feeling like pretty comfortable. Like I'm feeling like this is pretty good. Lurrus is like coming in clutch here. So we get another Glade Cover Spout, and with Lurrus onto the battlefield, we put Daybreak Coronet on. Now we got this giant flying lifelinker, and you know it starts heading in our direction. I probably shouldn't have played the Glade Cover Scout there. I probably should have just held it. And they play Prismatic Ending. And it gets rid of the Griftspoon, so that way like I lose the flying, so now they can chump block for a bit. It just gives them more time. So we get a Horizon Canopy down, which is basically just like a free draw, and we get a Path to Exile, which is big in case they start to reanimate stuff. But we're getting up there. They're gonna start trying to reanimate things. They persist their Zeta Wayfire to try to find more things. They persist this Archon of Cruelty. So, but I have like a lot of things in hand. So. On their upkeep, what we do is we path it, play the Glade Cover Scout from the graveyard, and they go down to 1 life. They get 1 turn to draw something, they don't draw it, and then we win game number 2. So now we're on to game number 3. Alright, we're in game number 3 of our Bogles match. Match 2, game 3. So we choose Lurrus. This hand is pretty good. I mean, it's super weak to Thoughtseize, which I'm pretty sure is coming. I don't think there has a Grief or Thoughtseize. They have like 8 turn 1 discard spells, so I know it's coming, but like you can't chip this hand. You just can't. So of course they Grief us, they get rid of our Solana Ledgewalker, but luckily it was a turn 2 spell, so we dropped the Windswept Teeth, and they don't play a land. So I'm like, okay, maybe I have enough time to try to draw out of this. But we don't draw anything. You know, we have plenty of enchantments, no creatures, so I just need a land, right? Like the land is what I need here, because I need to good. And I drew the lands, and I put Lurrus into my hand. Right, they play Eternal Witness, and they get Persist back to their hand, so like I know another Grief's coming, but I get a turn, right? And that's the most important part here. I get a turn. So I play the Dryad Arbor, I drop that down, and now I'm going to wait. Like I know that like I'm probably going to get Griefed out. They attacked us, and here I made a mistake. Like I don't know if I should have done this block, because all creatures get -1/-1, and it's pretty. I don't know if they're gonna do it or not. Like, but me blocking here was super risky. I thought about that, but I got away with it. Yeah, I mean, I legitimately just got away with doing that. And I drew a Veil of Summer here, which was like. They have Persist in their hand, like, and I know that, and they have a Grief, and I just drew a Veil Summer, so like I'm feeling pretty good about this overall. So first and foremost, I get my free card from the graveyard, and I go ahead and I actually throw a Spider Umbra on the Lurrus, right? Because I want Lurrus to live, because Lurrus is going to be my key of card advantage. And of course I kept the thing up for Veil of Summer. So they play Grizzly Salvage, and they're obviously trying to get a big creature, and they have Archon, right? But they Grief, and I Veil of Summer. So they get their Grief, and they evoked it, which was kind of like good for me with that card advantage. They played Night of Autumn, and they actually choose to gain 4 life here, if I'm not mistaken. They choose to gain 4 life. I probably think they should have got rid of the they probably should have got rid of the Spider Umbra, but they chose not to. You know, they gain 4 life, and I'm totally fine with that. Like, I'm now like winning this race. So I go ahead and I'm like, let's suit up this Lurrus. You know, it was an 8/3 trample lifelink. You know, I could use that. That sounds good to me. So we make him 12/7 flyer, right? And now a 14/8 flyer, you know, and we crash in with this giant Lurrus here. Like, that Lurrus is huge. And we take them a -1. So we win this match. We win 2-1 by even after losing game 1. So right now I'm feeling good. We're 2-0 in this league. Feeling pretty good. We'll be right back with match number 3. Alright, we are back in match number 3 of our Bogles League here. And what we got going on now is, of course, we choose Lurrus to be our guy. Now this hand is... I don't love it, right? So we do mulligan it, and this All That Glitters is like kind of a weak point in the deck. So I believe I shipped that. I shipped that because I have Creature, I have plenty of enchantments. Now I just need to survive long enough to actually use them. So we're against burn here. Alright, so we drop the Razor Verge Thicket. And I have Manatithe up. Right? And I don't think anyone suspects Manatithe. And they try... Oh, that's right. We're not against burn. They play Thrilling Discovery, and what we do is we Manatithe it. Which is, like, surprisingly good in this... Once you realize what deck they're on, you'll understand why it was so good. But anyway, I dropped the Silhana Ledgewalker. They grab a Blood Crypt, and then they play Stinkweed Imp. All right, so they're on Dredge. So getting that Thrilling Discovery was like really important. So we're gonna go Trample First Strike is the plan, and Ethereal Armor to make it a 7/5. You know, First Strike Trample. But we're basically allowing them to Dredge now. But it has to be done. You know, no choice about it. They ended up conceding because they're 5. They did hit an Archimevo, but I have Trample, and I'm going to put another Ethereal Armor on. So they ended up conceding this game. So we'll be right back with game number 2 of match number 3. Alright, we're in game number 2 of match number 3 of the Bogles League. And I hope you guys are enjoying this fast format, these like recap videos. Like, it's much faster paced play than what you would get if you were like watching me actually play. So let me know in the comments if you like this style of play or not. But this hand, I was so greedy in keeping this hand. I saw 2 Sanctifier and back and was selecting like, okay, I draw a land, I win this game. But they get Treecorn, they get an Archimevo, and of course I did not draw the land. Right? So this is a classic case of me being greedy, and I drew a Grispoon. Right? So I have to discard. That's not good. They play their other land, draw the 3rd Sanctifier and back, no land. And I conceded here simply because I know they have Light from the Loan and they have Ox. If Ox wasn't in the graveyard, I wouldn't have conceded if they had Ox, Light from the Loan. But they did, so I conceded this game. This one was super fast. We're going to go to game number 3. And this is a do not keep 1-landers. Like, it's just not worth it. It never truly works out. And if it is, you just got lucky. It had nothing to do with skill. So, all right, back with game number 3. Alright, we are in game number 3 of match number 3 with green-white Bogles. So, Lurrus is our companion of choice. This hand's real good, right? We got Flyer, we got Ethereal Strike, we got a first turn creature. Like, I'm super excited about this hand. And I'm on the play. So we drop the Razorverse Thicket, we drop that bad boy down. They don't do anything on turn 1, and I'm thinking like, oh snap, look at this. So, because they don't have anything, I am actually just going to go ham here. Put that on there. We now got a 5/5 first striker. Like, you know, we're living the dream here. You know, they get a Stomping Grounds at a play tapped. They, you know, take their life down. Thrilling Discovery. You know, they don't really have anything here. So I play the Dryad Arbor. I don't know if that was the correct thing to do, but now I have an 8/7 flying first striker, and they're down to 6 life. Drop the Bogle. Next turn, they play Cathartic Reunion. They creep and chill, right? 2 creep and chills, they go up to 12. But like, I'm still fine. You know, I go ahead and throw that onto the Slippery Bogle to start equipping up. Then we got 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. And they ended up conceding. This one, I just raced them, you know. Sometimes it's hard to do because they can clog the board up so low, which is why I really, really like Griff Spoon or Lifelink. Any one of those two is really, really good. The fact that I drew Ethereal Armor, Griff Spoon was just the reason I won that game. But, was a fun match. So we're currently 3-0 in this league. You know, we're feeling pretty good about this. And we'll be right back with match number 4. Alright, we are back with match number 4 of the Green-White Bogles League. Now, this match was not really interesting, I'll be honest with you. So we ended up mulliganing this hand because that hand is pure garbage. We do not have anything, right? Can't cast any of these spells off the white source land, so we ship it. This hand is better, right? Still missing another land, but, you know, I'm thinking it'll be good enough. And we ditch the 2-mana spell, keep a bunch of 1-maners. And this is where the game's not interesting. They played Tron. Alright, so, an Expedition map. Great, great, great. So I'm actually thinking like, okay, I can win here unless they Ugin, right? Ugin's the only way that they actually win versus me. So, you know, we're just going to play the Bogle, you know. And they play their I attach, you know. We're 5-3 now. We're just going to try to race them, right? They go grab their 3rd Tron piece. They Ancient Stirrings. They get another Tron piece. I'm thinking Ugin's coming, right? I am for sure Ugin's coming, right? I know that. So I don't do anything, right? Because I'm thinking like, okay. And then I forgot something about Ugin, right? So there it is, Ugin. I forgot that it would only have the -1, meaning it still has 6. So if I play it again, if I play whatever creature, it's going to do it again, and then again, and then again. So I conceded because of an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I mean, it can't win. I don't think it's possible. If you know a way that I missed, please put it in the comments. But pretty dead in the water here to Ugin Spirit Dragon. Just a little unfortunate that they had it. But that's how Tron doing Tron things. And I can't complain because I'm playing like a super uninteractive deck too, you know. So we'll be right back with game number 2. Alright, we are in match number 4, game number 2 of our Green-White Bogle League. We're versus Tron here. And, of course, we get Lurrus of the Dream Den. Again, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm dead to Ugin. My whole goal is to keep Ugin or mulligan down to 5, so like I'm feeling like pretty good here. Wish I had a turn 1 creature, but I don't. So they play Expedition map, so like obviously like instead of playing my creature, I drop the Seal Cleansing. And I just destroy that. So they play Yavimaya and they play Sylvan Scrying. They get their Tron piece. We play our Sylvana Lodgewalker. I throw the Hyena Umbra on it. They play the 2nd Tron piece plus a Chromatic Sphere, another Chromatic Sphere. So they're churning through the deck here. I decided to put Lurrus in my hand and then drop the Rancor. So we go to 4 because I want to be able to play Seal of Cleansing again next turn. And they play a Forest, so like I'm thinking like, okay, cool. They don't have Tron. You know, we can race them a bit. You know, things are looking up here. We go ahead and get the Seal of Cleansing. They sack that in response, which is totally fine. And then here they force a Vigor me, which was pretty brutal, not gonna lie. The Force of Vigor on both my Rancor and my Hyena Humber were like pretty brutal. But next turn I'm gonna get the Hyena Humber back. I'm gonna play the Rancor again. So really it didn't matter too much. But they play Sylvan Scrying, they play a Tron piece, so they have Frag Tusk, right? So they're just gaining, well, they're gaining time and they have Tron. So at this point I'm feeling pretty defeated in general. You know, but we're coming in for 9 damage, thinking like, okay, we can win possibly on the next turn, but then they Ugin. Yeah, that's the story of this game. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So, Tron doing Tron things, we got Tron. So we're currently 3-1 in this league. Not feeling bad, not feeling great, but not feeling bad. And we'll be right back with match number 5. Alright, we're here in our final match with the green-white Bogles deck. Alright, and let's see how this one turned out. So this hand's pretty good. We have Slippery Bogle, we have Ethereal Armor, we have Manatithe, we have Spider Umbra. I'm not a huge fan of the Manatithes in this deck. Like, I feel like that's an easy cut in this deck. Like, it worked that one time versus Dredge, but every other time I had it in my hand, there's just too many spells that matter. So they play Monster Swift Spear, so I'm like, okay. Mostly I'm feeling good about this matchup, but like having to burn myself for 2 wasn't great. And they Eidolon here. Now Eidolon is surprisingly really good against us. So my plan is to just go ahead and like just hang back, right? I'm at 12, but they can't attack anymore. And my plan is that if they start burning themselves, you know, I could potentially just slap on a Griffspoon, Spider Umbra, take 4 and win, right? So that's my plan here. Is I'm just going to try to like, I'm just going to try to win on the crackback. There's not much that I can really do. I don't want to play too many creatures and stuff because I don't want to get burned. So we have a standoff. And I'm thinking like, okay, Lurrus is another way for me to win because it has lifelink. So I go ahead and just throw Lurrus in my hand, really hoping that I can gain some life. But then they Boros Charm me, right? And that takes, you know, they take 2, but it takes me to 7. Then they Lava Spike me, taking me to 4, and then they Lightning Bolt me. And I ended up losing this game. They just were able to wait me out, which was unfortunate. Eidolon was absolutely crucial here. If Eidolon wasn't there, I would have won this game 100%. So if Eidolon wasn't there, I would have won. I probably could have won if I was a little bit more aggressive. Who knows, but you know, we'll see. Alright, back with game number 2. Alright, game number 2, match number 5. Let's get into it here. So we're definitely on the play here, and I brought in the Spirit Links, so like that's what I'm really hoping for. But like Daybreak Coronet's like just as good, right? But we only have the 1 land, so I shipped it, you know. And look at that! Like this was a good ship. Like look at these cards. I only need 1 of these 2 creatures. I need all of these. I don't actually even need this. I need this and this. All right. So let's see what I shipped. I got rid of the other creature because they can't target it anyway. So, you know, let's get right to business. I'm so confident that I shocked myself to get it. So here, I go ahead and drop them both on, right? 3/3, first strike, lifelink, boom, right? So I'm up to 17. complete and total switch, and they actually conceded here, right? Because like this is coming. They don't know that, but like they know that like that it's going to get bigger, so they actually conceded the game. So, all right, I will be right back with game number 3 of match number 5. All right, match 5, game 3. Let's get into it. We're 3-1 in the league, and let's see how we do. So, this hand is just... It's interesting because these 2 Sanctifier Invects, like, I really love here. Like, really, really love. But I have no lifelink, and I have not enough mana to cast them. So, I ship it because I've learned my lesson. And then, of course, like, no lands, so I had to mulligan again to go down to 5. Which is a little unfortunate. Kind of wish I didn't have to mulligan again. So we mulligan to 5. This hand's better, right? Still no lifelink though, which is a little unfortunate. But they play Dragon's Rage Channeler. They play their they play the Mishra's Bauble. We ended up getting a Glade Cover Scout, which isn't terrible, you know. I mean, we put it down. I'm willing to trade off this Dragon's Rage Channeler, but then they play Eidolon again, and they also we traded off creatures. So I play the Slippery Bogle, and that's where I messed up. Right. I punted here. I punted so hard. The Ethereal Armor should have gone on, so it has first strike. Right, meaning this Eidolon can attack and take me to 12, right? I punted here so hard. This should have been played. 100% should have been played. And I knew it as soon as I did it. It was kind of like a very quick play that I made, and I just wasn't thinking thoroughly. So, you know, he ended up playing another creature and then attacking me for 4. Imagine if I had a first strike creature here, right? I would have been at 10. Right, so I ended up trading, right, because I want the Eidolon off the board. So now I hopefully am going to draw a creature, right? It's like the big hope here is that I'm going to draw a creature. I draw probably the best creature that you could ask for here, right? I draw Sanctifier and Beck, right? So I drop it down, right? So I'm getting, and I actually don't ping myself for the damage, but he Lightning Heals me, takes me to 8. Exquisite Firecrafts me, takes me to 4. So what I need now is lifelink, right? So I actually didn't play any of the creatures, and I just put Lurrus on there, and he plays Dragon Rage, and he bolts me, right? Takes me to 1, right? So he has no cards in hand, right? I should be at 5, right? Like, I should be higher than that, or you know, I'm not exactly sure how it would have played out in the long run, but like not playing this Ethereal Armor and taking that 4 damage, you know, I don't know. But I'm thinking like, okay, well, here we go, Lurrus. I'm gonna try to gain some life. If he bricks, right? If he bricks, I will probably win this game, right? So a land, even like any creature that's not haste, I'm gonna win, because look, we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 life. I would go to 11. Like, I feel so comfortable. So my whole goal here is to fade this draw step, right? So they draw their card and they Lava Spike me, and that killed me. But I should have, you know, what I should have done is put that Ethereal Armor on the Slippery Bogle. Having that 2/2, first striker would have changed the game there a lot. But I didn't do that. I punted. So this was the league. We should have ended this 4-1, 100%. If it wasn't for this punt here, we would have ended it 4-1. but we ended 3-2, enough to net 2 tickets, and we had fun. So I'm glad that we were able to do that, and thanks for tuning in. We will be back with more videos in the future. Let me know how you liked this format of video. Alright, see you later.